Hello everyone, I apologise for the delay between my videos. I've just been very busy and not really had a chance to sit down on my own. There's always been something else to do, so I haven't got round to making them as regularly as I would have liked. I don't particularly like the idea of people being around and listening in. These are kind of private and personal to me that I just want to put out on YouTube and not really get anyone else around me involved in them for now. Anyway, sorry about that. Today is now 6 weeks into the ketogenic diet. I've been peeing on the little strips and they say I'm in ketosis. I know that's not always the most reliable way of being able to measure these things. So I'm just kind of assuming from the way that I've been feeling and the way that I've been eating that actually I am in ketosis. It was interesting. Last week was my 5 weeks in ketosis and also 5 weeks with my new personal trainer. So she did some measurements for me. And what was really interesting was on my scales, not a lot has happened, so I've been very disheartened about that, as I've discussed before. But what was then very interesting was on her scales, I apparently had lost half a stone, which I'm a bit sceptical about because actually when I had my measurements taken, there's not really any different. You know, I bought pair of trousers yesterday. They're really tight around my waist, so there's no difference there, and that's in a size that I would normally buy, so that's not good. None of my clothes feel like they're any looser really, like they all feel a bit like they're the same. So yeah, in terms of that, there's not been a huge amount of difference. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me with this videoing. I'm not long been out of bed, as you can tell from my hair, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable. I'm trying to sort it out so that I can hold it comfortably, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to have to try and just shift my position a little bit so that I'm not getting really bad armic. Right, so yeah, I'm gonna lie down. I'm so whacked. Just started a new job, and with MECFS it can be quite challenging having to go into doing full days, even though it's part-time. I've come back and I've just sort of collapsed after my day's work on the 2 days that I do full days. Yeah. Some of the issues of MECFS is things like that. Very difficult. I'm really enjoying it though. On another note, have I experienced more mental clarity? Have I experienced some of the other benefits in terms of my health? It's questionable, to be honest. So this week on Monday and Tuesday, I felt awful, really struggled, headache all day. Though I wonder if that's to do with I'm just drinking decaf tea now, and I wonder if it might be to do with that. Also, I've decided to cut out dairy, well, as much as I can cut out dairy and nuts. Dairy I think I have pretty much kept out. I think I might have had a little bit of feta cheese and a little bit mozzarella. Nuts is really difficult because, well, if you're on keto, you're not eating dairy and nuts. When it comes to eating on the go, and if you do get a bit hungry, because that's the other thing, until this week, basically my hunger had gone right down and I could eat my dinner, and I think, yeah, I was eating my dinner and I was having coconut yogurt with a few berries, and I was fine. Whereas this week, I've started feeling really hungry again. That could be to do with menstrual cycle and things like that. I think it might be, but I'll have to ride it out and see. But yeah, I've been finding that quite difficult. I am motivated. I'm very motivated because there are other benefits that I do feel like My skin is a bit better. Maybe you can see that on the video. There seems to be a clear up of my skin. I haven't actually got any spots at the moment, which is good. My hair though, I think some of my hair's fallen out. It feels thinner, like it's quite fine, my hair, but I have a lot of it, so I'm a little bit concerned. So I've ordered some supplements for skin, hair and nails. Nails, they've always been pretty strong, they don't feel any different, but yeah, so skin seems to be better, but hair not so much. What else? Well, yeah, I do, basically I've learned that my body loves vegetables, so my carbohydrate intake has increased from 20 grams per day to, well, some days I'll be doing the 20 grams and other days I'll be on 40 grams. It just depends on what I'm eating, what I feel like eating, because, I don't want to go depriving myself of things that I want all the time. I don't think that's what this is about. So yeah, some days very high in vegetables and greens, and that means that my bowels are back to normal. They're functioning very well, which is good. All that, the gut health, I think, is improving. And there was something else that I was going to say along those lines. Oh yeah, about calories. So when you switch to ketogenic diet, you're supposed to want to eat less and your calories are supposed to drop, which they did, and my calories dropped to what, according on my FitnessPal, should have caused me to lose £0.5 pound a week, which I've not been seeing. But apparently, with water and hormones and stuff, your weight can fluctuate between, there's 4 pounds a day, basically, depending on how much crap you've literally got in your system and, how much water you've been drinking. So because I wasn't a water drinker at all, really, before ketogenic diet, I just don't really like water. I never have done. So I've been forcing myself to drink water, and I've actually been quite enjoying it a lot more compared to what I was. I do wonder whether, all of a sudden my body, after 30 years of not having any water, has gone, oh my god, what is this wonderful stuff you're giving us? So it's holding on to the water. Issues with my menstrual cycle, things like that, holding on to what is essentially like water weight. Perhaps that could be a little bit to do with actually not seeing anything. Another thing I have noticed is when I do eat nuts, I do literally bloat out. I can literally feel and see my stomach just go and like rise almost, like it really sticks out and is uncomfortable and almost can make me feel a bit nauseous. So I definitely think I need to find other things to eat other than nuts. And I know people say, oh, you can have avocado, but it's just not practical to take an avocado into work and chop it up and stuff. I'm sorry, but it's not. Yogurt can be difficult as well because I'm a klutz and it will probably open up and leak all over my bag. I've had things like that happen to me quite a lot in the past before, so I have a perfectly good reason to be anxious of things like that. So I'm going to have to really think about what I can take in to work. I was thinking like olives, and I've got some Violife dairy-free cheese, which actually is quite high in carbohydrates. Just to let everybody know, the hard cheese Violife is 20 grams of carbohydrates per 100 gram. That means it's 20% carbohydrate as opposed to about 3% for dairy hard cheese. But I've, on very sparingly, I've been eating that. The cream cheese, however, is about 3% carbohydrate and is very good. So I definitely recommend, adding if you want to go dairy free, but you don't want to kind of give up that texture and that taste completely. The Violife cream cheese is really good. They're not paying me to say that, by the way, just to disclaim that is my personal opinion on the Violife cream cheese. The hard cheese is good, just be aware that it's 20% carbohydrate. So yeah, that's really a summary of where I'm at the moment. So not really noticing a lot of weight loss, not noticing any miracles so far. I think, I'm noticing enough that I'm going to be patient and I'm going to stick with it. And a lot of people have said to me, what you really need to be doing is you need to be intermittent fasting with the keto diet, especially if you're not keeping your calories down, which, although on average I have been, they're starting to creep back up again, which means I'm starting to get hungry again. Maybe that's because I've added in more carbohydrate in the form of vegetables, and I'm perhaps not getting as much fat, so therefore not feeling as satisfied. I'm not sure about that. My body, like I say, my body likes vegetables. When I was doing the fat fast thing, that's another thing to highlight. I stopped doing that after 2 days. I just felt awful, and I was bedbound, and I wasn't able to do anything. I was in the midst of starting a new job, and I was like, well, I can't really have this. So I added vegetables back into my diet, and almost immediately felt better. Within half an hour of eating a salad, I started to feel better. And then by the next day, by lunchtime, I was pretty much back up and running. So that clearly did not agree with my body. I think perhaps it didn't really agree with my body because it was obviously quite high in protein, because I was doing the meat fast. So really just eating meat and eggs and animal products basically, which was dairy. So it could be something to do with that. So on that note, intermittent fasting, yeah, I believe in all the science that I've seen, but for me personally, I have not had good experiences with intermittent fasting. It has made me feel quite lousy. Also, I get so depressed with not being able to eat. I was getting so miserable and hungry. And just, the thought of doing it, I'm like filled with dread. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get really anxious. Like, how am I going to cope with feeling so rubbish? Because it does make me feel pretty rubbish. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to start with a fat fast, which I'm going to do today. So today, I'm not going to stop myself eating by a particular time, because, by the way, I generally do wait until lunchtime before I start eating. So I kind of do naturally intermittent fast a little bit anyway, because of me just not really feeling hungry in the mornings. Sometimes I wake up and feel hungry, like today, but last night I went to bed pretty late. I didn't actually get into bed until 1:30 in the morning. Probably dozed off around 2, listening to stuff on YouTube. Sometimes I put my mindfulness on, that kind of thing. So got up about 11:30. So I've woken up, and within half an hour, because it's now 1 o'clock or something, within half an hour I started feeling hungry, and I'm feeling hungry now, so I want to eat something. So kind of already practiced intermittent fasting a little bit. I think I stopped eating quite late last night, about 11, half 11. But generally speaking, I'll stop eating about 10 and then won't start eating again until about 11 or 12 the next day. So it is a little bit. I need to start pushing it out a bit. So yeah, the fat fast, the idea is I'm going to start with once a week, where I'm going to do the fat fast, and try and eventually end up doing an intermittent fast, water fast, if not, liquids only, if I can't manage to do water fasting, and just see how my body copes with that. So yeah, with my condition, very high stress and related to all of that, I do have to be careful. I do have to really monitor how I'm feeling and how I'm responding to things. But the fat fast, you can look up on the keto diet blog and places like that on Google. It explains what that is. It's quite similar to the meat fast, but just focusing on fats, so less protein. So hopefully that will help me to feel a bit better, and I will post another video about that. Thank you for watching.